They did it. They know what they're doing. Hmm. Yeah, they took us out, bro. They don't want us. Sorry, guys, but they don't want us. They took us out the air. Hmm. Hmm. They took us off the air, boys. They don't want us in the air. You gotta salute the owl, you know? And sweet kid Kino. They took us out. Just to let you know. They don't want us. They don't want us here, guys. We need the army to start attacking. They don't want us here, you know? Thunder lightning, TV tower lightning. Knock down the tower and Kino's outside the roof. You know, the roof up there, you know? The roof in the Bronx, the apartment buildings, you know? Unbelievable what they're doing to us. They don't want us here. The attack is ongoing. You know, now they got 30-30. You know, boom, 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 boom. Unbelievable what they got for me. I did too much damage. Too much damage I caused. I said that they say that I, over millions of dollars were lost because of me and Sweet Kick Kino, just to let you know. And I haven't even started the show yet, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm under attack. Booby traps, lightnings, you know, unbelievable. Rocket Man is throwing rockets at me. This is crazy. I don't understand. I'm here and I felt a bomb. Salute the owl, ladies and gentlemen. Salute the owl. You need to salute the owl. Esto se jodió. Esto está jodido. Me están tirando bomba. They're throwing bombs at me. Kino, ponte la máscara. I think I'm going to have to put my helmet on. I'm telling you, you know, the Raptor F-22 is coming by us and everything. Supersonic. I don't know why they do this to us, you know. Salud diao. Salud diao. Esto está jodido. Se jodió esto, muchacho. Let me see what's going to happen to see what's happening here because I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I don't know. I think that's what it was. They said this guy destroyed it. This guy destroyed it for us. You know, I did an hour and 10 minutes. You know, I did an hour and 10 minutes, live stream in the antique show, and I'm paying the consequences, you know. And I don't know. I'm scared they might put a roofie in my flooring, to wash my teeth. They want me out. The ICA, everybody's attacking me. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to stick together. This is awful now. And ladies and gentlemen, you guys are in it too because they can get you. They know where you guys are at. Unbelievable, this show. Let me see if I can turn this on because this is crazy. I don't know what to do no more. Look at this. Popular. I had to turn the show off and you guys are back again. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. If there are 10 organic Watch Channel subscribers right now, live, recovering tomato cans, you need to have 10 thumbs up to let them know how you feel. This is how you let them know how you feel. You don't know about this kind of stuff. I'm telling you, you got to be careful with the water. They're throwing fluorine, a matarme. Let me see what I can do here to see if this will work, because they're attacking me. Let me put here $2. Let me put anything here, 50 cents, see what happens, These people are crazy. They $2, see what happens. Because they're attacking us, ladies and gentlemen. You guys don't have to say nothing. It's just to let them know that we're on their team, so they don't do nothing to us. But this is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand what I'm very nervous. What do you get? 2026. Give me a second, guys. I'll be on in a second. Release. Okay, so I think I have it here. I think I have it. Let me see if it works. Okay, we have it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the only public service watch announcement channel out there. This is the only one out there, ladies and gentlemen, the only one. There has never been a public service watch announcement channel defending all of you out there. That's right. The owner of this channel is no other than Sweet Kick Kino to me, Joaquin to you. If you don't know him in a friendly basis way, you cannot call him Sweet Kick Kino. You got to call him Joaquin. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, the Big Boss. And ladies and gentlemen, we are under attack. We are under attack. Just to let you know, I prepared this show hours ago. I said it wrong. Sweet Kick Kino prepared this show hours ago with a thumbnail of watches that will be released. They have been released already. The pictures have been released. And ladies and gentlemen, they said to me, no mas for you. And they shut me down. They threw a grenade with explosives. You know, one of those grenades, you know. And I try to put the thing, you know, the ring. I don't know how you call that thing, the ring, so I can stop the bomb, but it didn't go in. It went in anyway. How do you call that thing that, you know, they have? You know, please tell me the word, you know, when they throw the ring. So when they throw the bomb, the ring can stop it, blows it in the air. I tried doing that, pero papi, we lost a finger and a toenail. Unbelievable. The Iron Dome. Unbelievable what they're doing to us, ladies and gentlemen. But we laugh at everything because we're humorous. You know, we're humorous in this channel, you know? We tell you the truth, but we're humorous. And ladies and gentlemen, we have been under attack for the last 20 minutes. And they thought that I was going to throw in the towel and give up, but I'm not, because I have organic watch channel subscribers in this channel, ladies and gentlemen. If you see, they were getting thunder lightning helicopters with, you know, lights, lights down there at me. You keep on staying there. Don't leave, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they want you to do, to leave. So you cannot leave, Alex. Saludos, Alex. You stay here because I'm under attack. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm drinking this water here, and I think it has fluorine. I'm telling you, I'm not feeling well. Fluorine they're throwing at me. I'm just letting you know what's going on. If tomorrow morning you don't see me, it's all over, you know? If you hear what happened to me, please have my back because I need your help. Wicked, please. I know what I'm trying to tell you, lady. Wicked, they're under attack. I'm going to drink a little bit more of this water. Kino's telling me no more water, but Kino, tengo que, you know? Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start the show. You know, please don't forget, you know, to give us a thumbs up. You know, 17 organic watch channel recovering tomato cans, 17 and only 10 thumbs up. Come on, guys. Come on. This is why they keep on throwing thunder lightning at me, because you guys don't salute the owl. Let's all salute the owl. Let's all salute the owl, ladies and gentlemen. Show them the owl, ladies and gentlemen. Show them the owl. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know something, and I really mean this because I can see everything. We have like a 45-second delay. You know, when I talk to you, 45 seconds have to go by because the ICA is checking everything that I am saying. The ICA, I don't care, ladies and gentlemen. The ICA is checking everything I'm telling you. I'm talking about a 45-second in TV vocabulary. That's a long time, 45 seconds, because they want to hear everything I got to say. And I don't care because I don't use foul language. I don't say nothing. The only thing I say is this, you know, deep. That's all I think I say. So please, guys, you know, help me out because esto está jodido. They're really, I feel that I'm being threatened. You know, I feel like they're going to come in any moment through the window and they're going to get me. Let me go, you know, that kind of stuff. Just to let you know. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a few things that I want to talk to you about, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk to you about precious metal because you guys need to know about precious metal, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to start off with palladium. Palladium. The troy ounce of palladium is at $1,488. $1,488. Platinum, ladies and gentlemen, for your information, platinum, ladies and gentlemen. The troy ounce of platinum is at an unbelievable price that something is, not right, but I got to give it to you. Platinum, ladies and gentlemen, is at $1,958 a troy ounce. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite precious metals are the next two ones that are coming up now. And I'm telling you, we have a delay of 45 seconds to 50 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, they're taking a real hard look at this channel. You guys have to continue saluting the owl. Saluting the owl because esto está feo. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know what silver was last week. Silver went all the way down. Silver went all the way down to 59, 58, $57 a troy ounce. Silver. And ladies and gentlemen, today, silver, ladies and gentlemen, is at $75 a troy ounce. And ladies and gentlemen, when I talk to you about this one, because a lot of you, I didn't mention it no more because a lot of you son un bonche de lambones y palomos, and I mean that. No, no te metas aquí, no, 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 no. Son palomos, ustedes son palomos y lambones. Because when you saw that gold was going all the way down, ustedes parecían unas locas enfermas. You know what loca enferma means? You Google it because I'm not going to tell you. I am not going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. But let me tell you, gold was at one moment at $4,250 a troy ounce. That's right, gold, pure gold, $4,250. And ladies and gentlemen, me and Sweet Kid Kino, we still have a little stash away. And we never went that route. No, 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 no. Because we know what these people are doing. We know what the government is doing. He wants all of you to freak out and give all your gold, sell it all in, and then in a week later pump it back up again. Like right now, ladies and gentlemen, like right now, I told you $1,250 a troy ounce gold, and right now gold, ladies and gentlemen, is at $4,720 and going all the way up again, ladies and gentlemen. This is to get you all taken so you guys can get yellow belly. You know what yellow belly is? If you don't know what yellow belly is, you Google it. You got to quit being yellow bellies, ladies and gentlemen. You got to quit being yellow bellies because I stuck around with you guys to the end. I'm like Chucky. I'm with you to the end, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, gold is at $4,720. And you know why that's happening? Because you guys are afraid. You guys got to stick to your guns and come out blazing. I don't mean physical guns. I mean like the game, Atari, Nintendo, Super Mario, PlayStation, that kind of stuff. I got to use those words because they might throw me the TV tower antenna lightning and knock the show off, But I'm telling you what's going on. Porque ustedes son unos lambores. You don't understand the trick they're playing on you guys. They're playing a trick on you guys, and you guys are falling for it. And you guys, that's what they want. They want you to sell whatever is left out there. And it ain't much gold out there. Once they have it all, Papi, it's all for them, for their big little gang. They have a little gang over there, in Pennsylvania Avenue, and over there, the gun, the penta, the gun, the penta, the gun over there, ladies and gentlemen. They're watching me, ladies and gentlemen. They're watching me carefully, and I got to give you all this information. I got to give you this information before it's too late for you guys, okay? So hang on, hang on. I mean, if you want to sell your gold, you do whatever you want with your gold. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to tell you if you want to sell your gold, keep your gold. I'm just telling you that gold is going all the way back up again, ladies and gentlemen. This is like a little hiccup, not for them, for us. A little hiccup for us, not for them, because they're going to win all day. Those guys over there from Pennsylvania Avenue, Larry Fink from BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, JP Morgan, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the Bohemian Grove, salute the Bohemian Grove, You know what happened with the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue? You saw how he was awarded. He was awarded the first sitting president of the United States, with his signature on $100 bill, on $100 note. He was rewarded because he was obedient. He listened, and this is the way they repay him back. You're going to be the first sitting president to ever have their signature in $100 bill. You know, first is the $100 bill, then the $50 bill, the 20, you know, the 10, the 5, you know, and the George Washington dollar bill. You know, you're gonna see his name there. Papi, this is how it is. You guys don't know about this stuff, Papi. You guys continue skip hopping around through life like bunny little rabbits, you know? Bunny rabbits. You guys think already it's Easter. Easter's next Sunday. You know, Sunday coming now, you know? You guys got to listen to what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here defending you. And ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm drinking fluoride. Fluoride, right? Fluoride. I think I'm drinking fluoride or something because this water is not, I think they're doing something to it, you know? You know, something is going on, you know? You know what I'm trying to say. He's even gonna down. Alex is telling me that they're even gonna put his daughter. They're even gonna put his daughter. I think I gotta have to put the Iron Dome to protect me because they're attacking me, ladies and gentlemen. Since I did what I did on the live stream over there and the show antique in the beach, I have been under attack. You know, this morning in my car, I think the brakes were not very well. Just to let you know, the brakes. I'm telling you what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to keep on talking about that because I'm sad. But ladies and gentlemen, I do want to tell you something, and all kidding aside. I spoke to you about watches that, you know, watch brands that you must stay away from. If you like them, you purchase them. But if you're buying them because you believe that they still have any meat left on the bone, I'm going to continue with part 2 of that. And it's going to surprise you with the watches that I have for you guys. Excuse me, the watch models that I have. Not the watch brands. Well, sometimes the whole brand is just don't buy it. Don't buy nothing for the brand. And I'm going to tell you because I'm not a hater, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just defending your money. That's all I'm doing, defending your money. They won't do it, but I will, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm that kind of person. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen. Smart money, repeat after me. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods. Don't be afraid to tell Timmy, Bobby, Jimmy, Linda, Cindy. Don't be afraid. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods. Mr. Alex is telling me that he's receiving thunder lightnings in his, you know, wherever he's at. You know, tú sabes, smart money is buying precious metal. That's what they're doing, but they don't want to tell you that, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, Mr. Wicked. You're absolutely 100% right. Smart money is buying, you know, Achilles, you know what I mean, Papa? You know, Purnell watches, 5 cents to the dollar. Purnell watches, 5 cents and going lower, just to let you know. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you some watches. See, I can't say Purnell or Purnell, whatever you call that name, because nobody buys that. Eso mierda. Eso mierda. Esos son para los lambones, you know, for los palomos, lambones and palomos. Lambones is suckers. Palomos are the weak, you know, the weak-minded, you know? Tú sabes? You know what I'm trying to say. Exactly, a 2004 Camry. You know, I drive a 2005 F-150 pickup that's unbelievable. It's like a beautiful young lady, that truck of mine. It takes me from A to B, and, you know, and even Keno takes out his girlfriend in my truck, you know, and he asks me, hey, can I borrow your truck, you know? But ladies and gentlemen, I do want to tell you about some watch models that you need to stay away from, and also some watch complete model and, you know, brands. Stay away from them. And I'm going to tell you right now some of them, and you guys are going to appreciate me. And I'm going to tell you this off the bat to make this show quicker. These watch models, if you're not getting a 50 or 60%, you know, 50 or 60%. I don't want to get 40 or 30. 50 or 60, 65, 70. You got to stay away from these watches. I'm going to start off with this watch brand, to be honest. Bugatti. You need to stay away from Bugatti. If you like the watch, you like their style, you like their design, you like the octagonal, whatever you want to call it, you like all that, that's not a problem. That's not a problem if you do like Bugatti watches. One thing that is happening with Bugatti is they don't know if it's a Swiss watch, and they don't know if they're Italian. You know, they don't know. They don't know what it is. They don't know the Italian design, Swiss design. You know, están ahí. Están como en el joyete, en el medio, you know? Like, you know, we got dos nalgas, two buttocks. One here, and then you get the middle. You guys are here in the middle. en el botón, en el centro del Fuyingo, en el Fuyingo, you know, en el Fuyingo. And we cannot be in el Fuyingo. So I'm telling you right now, Bugatti, they don't know if they're Italian, you know, they don't know if they're Swiss, they don't know what it is. The wishy-washy stuff, Bobby. The wishy-washy stuff. So my advice to you, if you like Bugatti and you don't have a problem losing right off the bat when you buy it, 50 to 60%, papi, levanten las manos. Mano en mano, so stick up. Y tú así. You know what I'm trying to say? You understand me? You got that, right? Tú entiendes lo que te estoy hablando. You know what I'm trying to say, Achilles. You help me out. You're a smart man, a man of vision. Ladies and gentlemen, so you have that one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you about this watch because now you have the Indian brothers from Miami, Florida. You know, they're like 7 Indian brothers. They work out of downtown and they push Richie Millie's, or they used to push Richie Millie's, but the Richie Millie situation se jodió. You know, se jodió ya, se jodió. So they did a crossover. Do you know what watch brand that those 7 brothers over there? You know, those guys, they wear hats, they're from India, and they wear hats backwards, and they have their initials of their company in their hair, you know, with a buzz. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That watch company's 7 Indian brothers, you know, and I don't know, they even have like gold teeth and everything. I don't know what they are, you know, but I know they're Patel. You know, nothing wrong with that again, but I'm trying to describe to you who they are. 7 brothers out of Miami, and they push, and they used to push Richard Mille watches all day. Exactly, the white guy, you know, little chubby guy. You know, I call him the Gerber baby. You know, the Gerber baby. The white guy is the Gerber baby. He's the one, the front man. You know, the front man that pushes Richard Mille. He's like a little slave. You know, they have him there. You know, he's a little cute little thing, a little Gerber. You know, Gerber baby from Baby Food. You know, he's there. So these people, these Indian brothers, did a crossover now to try to get you. But I'm here to help you guys out. Guess what watch brand they are pushing now? Exactly, that guy. You know what I'm talking about. You're everywhere, Achilles. You know what I'm talking about. That guy. Look what Achilles wrote down. He's a man of vision. He's a visionary man. You're not going to believe what watch brand they're pushing now. Does anybody know what they're pushing? Let me give you a hint. They're pushing a watch model that has a roulette. You know, they're pushing a watch model that has Don Corleone. More? You need more? You still need more. 50-second delay. We got a 50-second delay, ladies and gentlemen. Let me drink some water so you guys can hear what I just finished saying, because you guys don't even get the hint I'm telling you. You know that? You know, the Godfather, the roulette. There you go, coño. There is somebody that's smart. Somebody that's smart there. Eh? Quatex, you know? Now, ladies and gentlemen, they're pushing that one. Company Jacob, ladies and gentlemen. They are pushing Company Jacob. But I'm here to defend you people. You know, let me explain to you, Company Jacob fanatics, ladies and gentlemen. If you buy a Company Jacob, I'm going to give it to you straight because I'm stupid like that. If you buy $1 million Company Jacob watch, when you're going to try to go sell it back to the Indian brothers, you know, with the Gerber baby over there, you're going to get for that watch that you paid $1 million. You'll be lucky if you get $100,000 for that watch. So I'm going to tell all of you, the whole entire watch brand, keep away from it. Keep away from it. These people are bloodsuckers, you know? These people are mean. These people, you know, they don't know how to get off their SUV, you know, G-Wagon, Mercedes-Benz. They don't know how to get off their red, go fast Ferrari. You know what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen? Can you imagine the message I'm just giving you? If you buy a $200,000 Company Jacob, you'll be lucky if you get $25,000 for that watch. So let me explain to you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm stupid like that. You need to be careful with that Company Jacob, and you need to be careful with those brothers. 7 Indian brothers that wear the hats backwards, and they have, you know, initials of their company. two initials in their hair, and they have initial stamps on their hand. It's unbelievable. They've been out of the show. Let me explain to you. They've been out of the show for a while already because there's no more content. No hay más pendejos. Ya no hay más pendejos que se puedan coger. There's no more. There's no more lollipop suckers out there. There's no more crayon eaters. No more tomato cans. You know that? No more possum kickers. No more cow tippers. No more Palmolive dish lickers, ladies and gentlemen. The watch market is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down like this. Stop being sandbags. It's dead. It's dead, ladies and gentlemen. And I come back to help you guys to protect you from Company Jacob. The only people that buy Company Jacob is that old man with the broken jeans, yellow jeans, purple shoes, green belt, flower shirt, the toupee wig man. You know, the toupee wig man, 80 years old. He's the only one that has those Company Jacob watches. They're in cahoots, flying in a plane, sitting down, flying around. Ladies and gentlemen, no sean pendejos. You saw what Alex just put there. Alex knows something. Alex knows about these things. I don't know how Alex knows him. I don't ask him no questions, but he knows it. Look what he put down, ladies and gentlemen. Eso así, papi. Look what I'm doing for you guys for free, papi. I'm calling out already. 2 watch manufacturers you need to keep away. You know what I'm trying to say? Coño, Wicked. Otra vez Kino lo dio 2 cañitas. Es que ese Wicked, you're one of mine. I didn't mean that in a strange way. I meant that in, Godfather way, I love you, my brother. Shelly give him a sweetheart over here because Wicked is unbelievable, So he's watching over us, And I'm letting you know you need to keep away from Company Jacob watches. And you need to keep away from that old man with the toupee wig man, He also hangs around with the two a night at the Roxbury brothers over there, from Feet Happy over there, from Feet Happy. One brother is very talkative, the other one is introverted, One is tall, one is short. Unbelievable, these people. These people are a bunch of pus. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to continue stop being. Garbage cans? Garbage cans. Paco Gambino told me this one time, and it does make a lot of sense. Paco Gambino told me these people are like the water in the bottom of a garbage can. You know that water in a garbage can that's been there for 7 months? You know that water? They're an infection. These people are a bunch of infections, ladies and gentlemen. I bet you never heard that analogy right there. Garbage can water from 7 months old. 7 months old. You drink that, te fuiste. Te fuiste, papá. Te vas. I'm telling you what it is. You need to be careful with that, water. That little juice water from a garbage can. It's been in the bottom for 7 months. Getting real strong. You drink that, te fuiste. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, these people are an infection, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody's going to talk to you the way I'm going to talk to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's part of life, You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next watch that you need to keep away, these people, every single Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealer try to get you with this watch. But I'm not going to let them get you with this watch. Model, brand. It's called the Parmigiani. You know the Parmigiani? The Parmigiani, the Rattrapante GMT, Rattrapante Minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can't get that watch at 60%, 70% off, leave it alone. Leave it alone, papi. Rattrapante from Parmigiani. Parmigiani, like a sandwich. Parmigiani, Parmigiani. You know what I'm trying to say? Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. This is the only channel that's going to tell you the truth. The rest are a bunch of hoodwinkers who have been fleecing you for too long until Sweet Kid Kino came along 4 years ago and opened this channel playing around, ladies and gentlemen. Playing around, we have become Veal Parmigiani. Unbelievable. Damon está aquí ya. Damián está aquí ya. Ese sabe mucho. So gente inteligente. So that's my third. Parmigiani. Parmigiani Veal. You need to keep away from that kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Mark Thompson. You know what I'm trying to say, Doc Mick, Florida. We cannot, you cannot let these people, they're the people that they're the bottom, they're at the bottom of the garbage can. The little water is left, it's been there for 9 months. You smell that, te de cojona. And that's what they give to you people so you can fall asleep. They give you that water smell to knock you out. Does anybody know what I mean about the garbage water? Does anybody know? Just tell me yes. Shoot me there. Shoot me there now. Unbelievable. You know what I'm trying to say, Nelson. You know what I mean, Nelson. You know what I mean. I know you know what I mean. That water will destroy you. It will destroy the way you think, the way you analyze. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is crazy what I give to you guys for free. The water of the bottom of a garbage can will destroy your way you think. I told my wife, I don't want to see that water no more. You told that lady to throw the air when you have the lady that comes to clean the house. You tell her to clean the garbage and throw it out. I don't want to see no water there. Because that water, what it brings there, I don't want to tell you. Enough of that. Okay. So I told you about Parmigiani, Rattrapante, GMT, Rattrapante minutes. Keep away from that. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch brand did a lot of movements for Rolex. But ladies and gentlemen, you need to keep away from this watch brand. You need to keep away from CNF. Unbelievable watch brand, let me tell you. Pero papi, this watch brand, listen to me. CNF, you need to keep away from CNF, ladies and gentlemen, from CNF watches. If you're not getting a 75% off, get away from there. 75, 60%, 65. The CNF watch, it's unbelievable. They did an unbelievable watch, which is called the Chrono Master Sport with a meteorite dial, 41 millimeter, papi. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you a watch market update on this watch. This watch just came out. The CNF. This watch just came out. Absolutely, Nelson. Beautiful watch. I'm talking about beautiful watch compared to the Bugatti, the company Jacob, Parmigiani. This watch is beautiful, papi. Beautiful watch. The CNF. The CNF Chrono Master Sport. But you guys are not hearing me. You guys say it is nice, but watch this. This is what these people give you. The CNF. They give you the Chrono Master Sport with a meteorite dial, 41 millimeter. Unbelievable. You want the reference number? Let me give it to you already so you have it, papa. 033120360076M3100. It has a retail price, ladies and gentlemen. I would say I don't know, $17,500. You know what I'm trying to say. Damon, slow it down. Cena. Unbelievable this now, Damon. Did you guys ever had the CNF TV that was like a Curvix? It was curve, localization, deep. The CNF, it was like a curve, Did you have that one? And then it had the zoom button, the zoom. When me and my wife, we got married, we had one of those suckers, man. That's what I got to say. I got to take it easy, guys. I got to take it easy. Oh my God. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, David. But let me continue on with the CNF, ladies and gentlemen. They give you all this. This watch was just released. This Chrono Master Sport stainless steel with a $17,500 retail price, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that watch. I'm going to say this number, but it's going to continue to drop. But I'm going to be gentle because CNF made all the movements for Rolex on their chronograph, watches. CNF. Don't pay for that watch more than $11,200. Bam! You do whatever you want. That was a free one. That was a free one that I just gave you. A free one that I just gave you. The watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to finish it off, ladies and gentlemen. Kino, no te metas. Yo no dije nada malo. Yo dije que yo lo voy a terminar. El negocio de los relojes está muerto. Más nada. Ellos lo saben. Another watch brand that you need to keep away. Every single watch brand that this company has is a limited edition. And I'm going to come in defense of the Muppet Boiler Room's secondary grade watch market. I'm going to help them out. These watches, an example, they cost $25,000. You buy it from the secondary grade watch market. Exactly, Alex. Exactly, Alex. Exactly, Alex. Good for you, Alex. Wow. You were watching me, huh? You were watching me. You buy this watch from the Muppet Boiler Room. The watch costs $25,000. You buy it from the secondary grade watch market for $7,000, $8,000. $7,000, $8,000. The watch costs $35,000 and is a limited edition. You know, a limited edition of Ayrton Senna. You know, whatever it is. You know, whatever it is. You know, all those movements are made over there in Xinjiang. You don't know that, but I know they're in Xinjiang. You know, it's what it is. The truth. You know, they got stacks and stacks and stacks of movements. Cost $35,000. You buy from them over there for, I don't know, $10,000, $9,500, $11,000. That's all. Everything is limited edition, wishy-washy stuff, papi, to put you in el paredón and give it to you deeply. Deeply. You relax your muscles, you know, you relax your body deeply. You know, deeply. You guys don't want to hear that because you guys want to continue giving your money away. You want to continue giving it away to the olive oil voice, you know, to, you know, Morgan Freeman. You know that guy Morgan Freeman with the olive oil voice that he says that he's selling his whole watch collection, that he's no more going to do this, do that, do this. Papi, la situación está jodida. You can't. You can fool some people sometimes, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. All right? So Hublot watches, keep away from that. Ladies and gentlemen, my last, and let me explain to you something. I am a supersonic big fan of this watch brand. Pero papi, you just, you know, if it's a pilot big, if it's a pilot big, does anybody know what a pilot big is? Pilot big. Do it backwards now. Do it backwards. You know, pilot big. You do it backwards, you know what I'm trying. Absolutely, Thurston. Bravo, Thurston. Bravo, Thurston. Keep away from CWI. You keep away from CWI. Ladies and gentlemen, you keep away from CWI. And the model is the, you know, pilot big. You know, pilot big. Keep away from, everything is pilot big. You know, everything is pilot big with them. So keep away from them, ladies and gentlemen. You buy the watch for $20,000, you gotta sell it for $5,500. No coman mierda, papi. No coman mierda. No coman mierda. You know, no coman mierda. This is the #1 watch market update show in the world, ladies and gentlemen, chosen by no other than Fudenki and also Sachs Goldman. You know, Sachs Goldman, we're #1, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna show you too many restaurants with $17,000 steak dinners, with $12,000 tuna sushi dinners. I'm not gonna show you none of that. I'm gonna show you knowledge. You know, so when you leave and you go to bed, you tell your wife or your partner, whatever it should be, today I'm smarter. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Let's salute the owl, ladies and gentlemen, at the Bohemian Grove, because that guy from Pennsylvania Avenue was awarded for being obedient. He got his signature on a $100 bill. I don't care what team you belong to, because I don't belong to no team. I'm not that stupid. I'm not that stupid. I don't belong to no team. And if you belong to the red team, that's your problem. And if you belong to the blue, that's your problem. But the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, you know, he got his signature on a $100 bill. That's all I got to see. That's all I got to tell you. That's how they get awarded, and that's how they get down. You know what? That's how they get down. You know, listen, the job that I'm doing for you guys, nobody would dare to do. I mean, this is for big. What I do, ladies and gentlemen, I walked around the show and the people would look at me like this. I know you. That's right. That's what they would say in their mind. I know you. That's all they would say. But you know, they know who I am. I love watches as much as they love watches. But you got to be kind to you people. You recovering tomato cans have lost too much money. You lost your children's tuition money. You lost your 401k. You lost your wife's 401k. You lost your lover's 401k. You lost your lover's 401k. No te metas aquí, yo no dije nada lovers. Eso no es nada malo, porque si puede ser amante de un novio, la novia, tú no te metas en eso, Kino, yo no dije nada malo. Kino's always getting, you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, those people will give an eye to see me blind. You know, they saw me. They saw you. You saw what I showed you. I did that to show you. Listen, the reason that we can't show you the show, you might be thinking, well, why did you show me the beach show? Well, the beach show, there's 1,000 tables, right? And I'm staying short. 1,000 tables. In the show over there in downtown, there's only 100 tables, you know? And then on top of that, you got 10, you know, with a badge looking at you. So you can't, as soon as you raise it up, let's go. Nah, let me go. They get you, that's it. But if I could, I show it to you, I send Kino. You know, Kino es el perro mío. Kino's my puppy. He's my dog. No, Kino, que you're my dog. No que tú eres perro. You're my dog. Kino doesn't like to talk. So just in case you're wondering and you're new to the channel, you know, the rest of my Organic Watch channel subscribers know that. Kino is my dog. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just letting you know, you heard what Thurston Howell III said. You know, it was dead. It was completely dead, and I wanted you guys to see it. So I already told you about the CWI, you know, the Pilot Big Watches. Keep away from that, and you'll save yourself from a lot of headaches. All right? Okay, fine. We got that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to say something to you because everything that we learn, we like to pass it along to you. But ladies and gentlemen, today, it was yesterday in reality, but I was tired yesterday, you know. I was tired. I needed my voice to, you know, I lost it too much, you know, too much talking. And my wife has given me some of that honey because she says that I'm a public figure, that I need to, no more steak grill, no more, it's over, no more. Tilapia, you know, tilapia, tuna fish can, you know, spam, you know, spam. They were selling in Pathmark, you know, spam. The dog, Kino's my dog. Kino's my dog. Earl Grey tea. Thank you, Papa. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Thank you, David. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, a watch brand that I spoke to you about it, and I think it was on Sunday night, that is a watch that, you know, basically cannot hold on to their, you know, to their value of their watches. You know, when you're going to sell them, you're going to lose money on them. But they decided to release some of these pictures and these watch models they're releasing because, to be honest, they can't compete with the monsters of the Midway, you know. And you're asking yourself, well, who are the monsters of the Midway? Well, you got this one right here. Everybody's waiting for this, you know, for the 14th to I don't know what of April, you know. This is the king of watches, just in case you don't know. This is the king of watches with the triangle in the middle. People are waiting for that, and if they're not waiting for that, they're waiting for the watch brand, which is called Patek Philippe. You know, they're waiting for Patek Philippe, and you're waiting. They're also waiting. Let's be honest, guys, because you know, where honesty is honesty, you give it. They're waiting to see what Cartier is coming up with watches and jewelry. You know, so Breguet felt that, you know what? Even Omega, they're waiting for Omega too. Even Omega makes, I don't know, man. Omega's just so, yeah, you know. Don't tell nobody I told you this. Don't tell nobody that I told you this. But Omega's made in China. Se lo dije aquí, no. So Briguet decided, you know what, we might as well just, let's throw it out there and see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, Briguet is an unbelievable, absolutely, Briguet is an unbelievable watch brand. And they've been around forever, 250 years. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure to dare myself to tell you that these guys are the ones that, or made or perfected, or they're just the best in doing tourbillon. You know that? Do you guys know that? Do you guys know that? Or because probably you guys don't even know that, who Briguet is. Briguet, they're monsters. Briguet are monsters. Like, out of the top five, I'll pull one out and I put Briguet in there as five. How's that? You know? You know what I'm trying to say? You take out of the five that I call the five monsters. Eso es así, Thurston. They like you can take out one of them. I don't know which one you can take out. I don't know which one. You got the Rolex, which is the key. You got Patek, you got AP, you got Vacheron, you got FP Journe, but then you got these monsters, the Briguet. And ladies and gentlemen, it's an anniversary, 250-year anniversary. And they have the Briguet Tradition Collection refresh of 2026. It's an unbelievable. And they're doing these beautiful watch models that if you saw at the beginning, I had a thumbnail, I don't know how you call that, right? The one that I had to stop the show because something happened. The antenna got crooked. You know what I'm trying to say? And but they're there. And they're specifically doing these models, the 7037, the 7097, and the 7067. They were the ones in the front. The ones in the front. The one in the front of the thumbnail that I had, those three watches, those are coming out. And let me tell you something. If you look at those, this is where things get kind of tricky, because if you look at what MB&F has and you look at these new models that are being released from Briguet, they look pretty something similar to the MB&F watches. You take a look at it so you understand what I'm trying to say. But they're coming out with those models, three models, or GMT, those models that I'm talking about. It's a traditional collection. Briguet Traditional Collection. It's been refreshed for 2026, and it has those. It just has beautiful things going on, ladies and gentlemen. So take a look at those models that I'm talking about. They're all over. They're all over. You don't need to. You put their new releases for Briguet. Boom, they come out, and this magazine, Watch World, I think it's called, Watch Aficionado, something to that. They're all there. They also have the experimental line described as a living laboratory, by Briguet. It's meant to showcase advanced R&D and the boundaries of horological science. Listen to the word they're using, horological science. Briguet, they're los pobres, they're trying their best. And I think with the watches that I saw in the pictures, I think something good is going to happen, for them. They also have the anniversary high complication novelties, classique repetition minutes 7365 release as a major high complication novelty for the 250th year anniversary period. Okay. So that is Brigitte. Look into it, Google it, so you know what I'm talking about. Because these people, they won't tell you. I am gonna say something out of this whole batch that I'm talking about. I think something good is gonna come out of there. I honestly think that the Brigade Tradition collection, refresh from 2026, that I told you looks something similar to the MBNF. I think it can be, depending on the prices, depending on the metals. They don't tell you that still. They'll tell you where they're and, where the show is going to be at Wonders and World Watches. That over there. Gotta be careful with the words, ladies and gentlemen. You guys help me out. You understand what I'm trying to say. So you have that, and the Cacique Grande, Sony Ride, a 1905 highly complicated pocket watch featuring features the art craftsmanship. It's I don't know. I think you got to see these watches. You got to see these watches. I don't know what to tell you guys. You also have the Reine de Naples, the 9935 and the 8925 is high jewelry versions for the feminine, for the ladies, for the ladies too. Going back to that, the Soneri 1905, it's a highly complicated pocket watch from Briette. They're doing a pocket watch. I don't know how many people here are, collect pocket watches. I know that my grandfather in Puerto Rico, he had his pocket watch, and he looked kind of cool with it. When I remember him, putting it out of his pocket, and had like a little chain, and looked good, So the Classique Grande, you know, 1905. We have the Marine Ora Mundi, the 5555, a new limited edition of 50 pieces for the Marine collection. It has to be something, I don't know, probably like a submariner, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Something like that. And then you also have the Classique Tourbillon Cyril, the 7255, a specialized timepiece. They have that too. You want to look at it. And so those are the watches that they're going to be releasing. They're already releasing because the competition is just too big. There's other wish. The competition is, but who knows, Alex? Maybe something good comes out of that. But people are making a big brigade, and for some time, like I said again, I'll say it one more time. I don't know if you guys know that the tourbillon experts were those people, Brigette. Those are the monsters. Those are, you doubt it, okay? You doubt it. But those are the monsters, You gotta look into that. So that's what's happening with Brigette watches, I'm gonna give you guys a watch market update so we can continue our evening, We can continue our evening. Invented the tourbillon. I didn't want to say that. I wanted to see if somebody knew what I'm talking about because, you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. And, listen, they're the masters of the tourbillon. That's what I got to tell you. They are the masters of the tourbillon, but for some reason, lately, they have not been able to. Wow, you have 2 Starbucks. Yes, they did. They invented it. I've been trying to tell them for a while, but they're making fun of me, But I'm a funny guy, so that comes with the territory. Being funny, they won't believe you. It's gonna be if you're planning to sell those Starbucks, accelerate it. Move on. I'm gonna give you guys a watch market update, right, guys? They need to study more. Exactly. Sometimes I feel like I don't wanna sound like I'm being, pushing on them. But thank you for helping me out with that. Yes, they are there. They are. Yeah, sell one and keep one, Alex. Ladies and gentlemen, our first watch market update. These first 5 watches are from a subscriber that wants these prices on these watches. And this one is a blank pane, yellow gold with a leather strap. It is the 665 3Q 40 millimeter, 40 millimeters. An unbelievable looking watch. This watch is full set. And this watch, this blank pane, is yellow gold with a leather strap, as I'm telling you. And it's full set, and it has a retail price of $31,000. Sir, you were telling me that they were offering you this watch for 15,000 and change. And I'm going to tell you, with all due respect, if you are looking to buy that blank pane, maybe you should do a little bit more research before you look into the price of the $15,000. Because I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $11,200. Don't pay more than $11,200. Okay, just to let you know what's going on with that watch. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Thank you very much for the prices you guys are putting up there. That's wonderful. I like that. I don't want to keep on telling you guys to let's get involved in the pricing. And here's another one too. Here's another A. Lang & Son yellow gold leather strap. Reference number 232-032, a 40.5 millimeter casing, yellow gold. A. Lang & Son. We spoke about A. Lang & Son on Sunday night, and here it goes again. This watch has a retail price of $42,600. This gentleman was telling me they were offering this watch to him for $23,000. Does anybody know this watch model? Does anybody know this watch brand? This watch brand is from Germany. It's from Germany. And I'm going to tell you something, one of the best watch brands out there, I said it, you said it too. One of the best. How's that? But, they had their moment, and now, they're going through this situation, okay? So this is the A. Lang & Son yellow gold leather strap, reference number 232/032 with a 40.5 millimeter casing and a retail price of $42,600. Does anybody know what price I'm going to give you? If you don't know, I have to give it to you because we got to move on with the show. Don't pay for that watch, sir. Don't pay for that watch. They were telling you 23, whatever it was. I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. An even number. Don't pay for that watch more than $16,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want. I can't even give you drops because my body aches and I'm weak. I can't. So I'm just giving you that. All right. So you know what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a watch here, which I believe is one of the nicer blank pane watches. All right. This is a blank pane, rose gold, leather strap, beautiful watch, leather strap is chrono, and the reference number is the letter A as in apple, C as in car, 02/36B40/63A with a 42.5 millimeter casing. They call this watch the Air Command. The Air Command, ladies and gentlemen. And this watch has a retail price, beautiful watch with a 42.5 chronograph leather, beautiful watch. And it has a retail price of $38,100. This is a pretty new watch. Does anybody know what prices this watch is? See, because you guys, this is why I don't get into these watches, because some of you don't know about these watches. You just know Rolex. Yeah, nothing like the king, but you don't know about this watch. But this watch, again, this gentleman is looking to it because this is what he likes. Wow, 18.5. There it is, right? On eBay for 18.5. Well, here it is, Doc Maker, Florida. Don't pay for that watch more than $16,600. And there it is, okay? Dopping again. Sir, wake up and smell the coffee. Watch Mikey dead. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a subscriber of mine that he loves this watch brand, and so do I. So do I. But I want you to hear this, right? This is an H. Moser & Cheap. This is the 1200 0409. It has a power reserve of 72 hours. Listen to this so you understand. It has a funny blue dial, a funny fume blue dial, leather, beautiful red gold, ladies and gentlemen. But what's really gonna bug you out, it's the pieces they made of this watch. Does anybody know how many pieces they made of this watch? This is an unbelievable watch. You put this watch in your hand, you got that fume blue dial, that funny fume blue dial. Beautiful watch. Ladies and gentlemen, they made 100 pieces of this watch. 100 pieces. This is the H music, the moose. The moose, the moose. The moose is loose. The moose is loose. The moose is loose, ladies and gentlemen. Watch Mikey dead. But this watch brand, for some reason, I believe they're gonna just keep on moving up quietly. They're involved with Formula One. Formula One over there. With the Nicky Lauda. You know what I'm trying to say? Those people. It's unbelievable. Those racers. Unbelievable. German engineers. This watch at one moment is gonna catch everybody comiéndose los mocos, eating their boogers. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say. I know you were gonna come around, Damon. I knew you were gonna come around because I'm telling you, this is like, wow, man. 100 pieces. The moose, the moose. Unbelievable time machine, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, for this moose has a retail price, ladies and gentlemen, of $24,200. And the reason I'm talking about this watch and I'm taking my time is because you heard the retail price, 24,000 and change. And now I'm going to tell you what you should pay for this watch. But what really amazes me is that it's there. It's getting close to retail status. You heard what I said? Retail status. Don't pay more than retail, right? It's not there yet. It's 24,000 and change the retail. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, for a beautiful watch like that one, 100 pieces, 100 units around the world, don't pay more than $19,000. And that is good. That is climbing up. It's moving up. It's moving up. I'm just letting you know the moose is doing something right. Just to let you know. I hope you guys understood what I said. Just to let you know. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Cartier Santos. Cartier Santos, yellow gold. It's a 39.8 millimeter casing, but I just round off to a 40 millimeter casing, 40.5. No, excuse me, 40 millimeter casing. The reference number is the WGSA0029. It is the large model, okay? And it has a retail price of $44,300. To some of you who have never seen this watch in person or have carried it, or touched it, this thing weighs like a beast, like a monster, like a brick, like a brick, solid. Retail price is $44,300. And I'm going to tell all of you out there, don't pay for that watch more than $31,700. All right? That is the Santos. All right? Our next watch is a Patek Philippe Nautilus 5990 stainless steel gray dial with a 40.5 millimeter casing. The travel time, retail price of this watch is $76,895. $76,895. And ladies and gentlemen, to the ones that are looking for this Patek Philippe, salute them. They're trying to get us, bro. They're trying to get us. I know what I'm trying to tell you. You guys are not cooperating with the situation. You guys are not cooperating. Don't pay for that 5990 gray dial, travel time, Patek Philippe Nautilus. Don't pay for that watch more than $113,000. All right? That's what it is. Here's a watch. Here's another Patek Philippe. that it was all the way to $200,000 plus. Hey, the one that said that the watch market is alive and thriving. Hear this, Bobby, for you. Patek Philippe Nautilus, 5980. Rose Gold Chrono. Unbelievable time machine, you know? It took it all the way. It took it all the way to 235, 220, $217,000, you know? This beautiful Patek Philippe Rose Gold, collector's choice, collector's grade, collector's unit, collector's, I don't know, grave, you know, collector's grave, you know, the grave, you know, unbelievable, you know. I mean, it's super elegante, you know, super, you know. I call it El Jefe, you know, I call it El Pablo Escobar, I call it El Mencho, you know, I call it Pennsylvania Avenue, you know, Pennsylvania Avenue, this 5980 Rose Gold. Unbelievable chronograph, you know, 40.5 millimeter casing. Retail price is $108,820, ladies and gentlemen. Let me drink some water because you guys are not too excited about this one, you know, because it's bringing fire para Joyete. Fuego. Fuego en el 23. I'm jodiendo. $108,820 is the retail price. And remember, it was all the way at 200 and change. And I'm going to tell you today because I'm an SOB. You know what SOB stands for? I'm not going to tell you. You Google it. Don't pay for that watch. And if you pay more, it's because tú eres un lambón. Y eres un palomo. And you're still thinking that that watch costs that. Don't pay for that watch more. And it's dropping. It is dropping. Just be careful. Don't pay for that watch. 5980 Rose Gold Chrono. Don't pay more than $174,000 in dropping, right? You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, Doc Maker, Florida. You do whatever you want. It's your money, and you do whatever you want. Here's a watch that in the Corona era it was one powerful watch to have. You know, this is an AP Royal Oak stainless steel. AP Thurston, come on, man, you don't have to do that. Tú eres uno de los míos, Thurston. Oye, Thurston, otro dándole cariño a los otros, hermano. Gracias, Thurston, papá. Gracias, papi, coño. You understood it, Thurston. You understood it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. I didn't want to repeat that no more. Thurston understood it. Thank you, Thurston. Gracias, papá. Give Thurston, please, some love. All of you, okay? All of you give Thurston some love. No coman cativilla porque me voy. Yo me voy. Me voy. Me voy. Give Thurston some love. Right, guys? Give Thurston some love. Give me some likes there. You know, give me some likes. I want to see the likes, at least 5 likes I want to see there. I only see 2. What's going on? Anyway, guys. There you go. One more. We need one more. That's all we need. One more. Rompimos. One more. One more, Nikki. One more, Nick. One more. One more like on that Thurston Howard III. And don't leave us alone. I know what I'm telling you. I know they're opening up the gates. One more. I don't see it. I don't see 5. Let me know when 5 is up there, guys. I'm mad. I'm mad. I'm mad as hell and I ain't going to take it no more. Gracias, Franco. Coño, eres uno de los míos, Franco. Gracias, papá. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch that I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to just start by telling you this is a 38 millimeter. This is an AP Royal Oak 38 millimeter. Stainless steel. Chrono. You know, chrono. They call this a panda too. They call this a panda. But this is a panda with beautiful, beautiful blue eyes. You know, it has blue eyes. 38 millimeter. Panda, white down with beautiful blue eyes. They call it the blue eyes panda, you know? But it's a 38 millimeter, ladies and gentlemen. And this watch, to some of you who are new to the watch business, watch collecting, all that good stuff. This watch at one moment was over $150. If you don't know what $150 means, it means $150,000 for a watch that costs the retail price of the watch. It costs, so you understand me, it costs $34,800. $34,800. Wow, seven. I like that. Respect to Thurston and to all of you, Papi, to all of you. Thank you so much. They're opening up the gates. And this watch was $150. You know, you go to the shows, people, bang, 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 wire, 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 wire. And they were wiring, you know, wiring and wiring and wiring and buying the watch for $140, $130, $150. Depends what kind of lollipop sucker they found that day, you know? Depends. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about the AP Royal Oak Stainless Steel Blue Eyes. White dial with the blue eyes. Panda 26315. Look it up. Reference number 26315. Chrono 38 millimeter with a retail price of $34,800. I'm going to tell all of you, don't pay for that watch more. Don't pay more. It was a real big long line of lollipop suckers, tomato cans, window lickers, sandbags, crumb bums, you know, possum kickers, cow tippers, Palmolive dish lickers, ready to give away their $140 for the watch. And I'm going to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm honest. I'm honest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a man of integrity. Don't pay for that watch more. I mean, you do whatever you want. Don't pay for that watch more than $39,500. $39,500. Don't pay more than that. Watch market, it did. It did. And let me tell you something. You won't find many people that will give up today $39,500 for that watch. I promise you. That's all I got to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Rolex white gold Daytona. They call this the Ghost. It's fully white gold. It's fully white gold. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Jose Diaz. Gracias, papá. Thank you so much. And Jose, thank you very much for supporting the channel with that lovely, lovely, charming thank you chat that you send us. Thank you very much. I want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, Jose. Thank you. Muchas gracias. To all of you, but I'm saying that Jose, you know, Jose put it kind of, I don't know, kind of, if I could use the word, which is nothing bad. I think he put it more low key. He didn't want to create any kind of conflict. Gracias, Jose. Gracias, papá. Gracias. Un millón de gracias. Thank you very much, Jose. So this is a Ghost. Reference number 116509 is fully white gold. Bracelet and casing. You know, the Ghost. For some reason, if you take the Ghost casing with a rubber strap, which is called the Oyster Flex, that watch, whether you want to believe it or not, it's more popular than the fully white gold. I like more the fully white gold. And people like, that rubber, they want to be Richard Millie's, Hublot, like that kind of stuff with the rubber, So you can find that the Oyster Flex with the white gold casing is about the same price, and watch out, it's more expensive, right? So I'm going to tell you guys the retail price of that watch is whatever you want to call it, collector's unit, Don't pay for that watch. Exactly. And in most cases, more expensive. That's right. They are. They are more expensive. It's more gold, but it's what people want. People want, they want the rubber strap. Ask me if I had a rubber strap. Yeah, I've had a rubber strap too. Yeah, I've had it. Am I going to lie to you? Whether you want to believe me, because I've had it. What model did I have? I had the chocolate dial. I had the chocolate dial, Oyster Flex. And let me tell you, yeah, they like the ceramic bezel. Coño, bien, Franco. Thank you, Franco, for coming out and rescuing me and helping me out. Yeah, and it has a ceramic bezel. So people like that, they like the ceramic. Doesn't have no gold, it's ceramic, but they want that, So if you ask me what looks nicer on the wrist, I gotta be honest. You know, when I would put on my Daytona chocolate with an oyster flex, it was era un baja panty, you know, it was a panty dropper, you know, I go like that, boom, panties to the floor. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, don't pay for this ghost. Fully white gold with the same exact ghost dial. Don't pay for that watch more. Don't get scared, but don't pay for that watch more than $38,500, right? $38,500. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another watch that I thought that at one moment, I thought that this was going to be, 80, 90, and they were going to give Patek Philippe a run for their money. And, they were going to be this, be that. But this watch has been dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, is the Rolex Rose Gold. I got to tell you something. In this channel, I try to, make it funny for you guys and put nicknames on things. And ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't me. Somebody in the channel, in our organic watch channel, said something and I kept on with it. And today it has become popular, so popular that even in chats, in different chats, people put down this now. They write this down. Ready? Rolex Rose Gold Land Dweller, 36 millimeter, flat Jubilee bracelet. Flat Jubilee bracelet. Here goes the kicker with a chicken coop white dial. You know what I'm saying, Thirst? Chicken coop white dial, man. The people out there, somehow, some way, they hear us, man. And somebody was describing that watch for sale, and they put with a chicken coop white dial. You guys might not find it funny, but I find it hysterical because you might think people don't hear this channel, but they do, Papa. They really do. That's the truth. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, for that beautiful land dweller, flat, with the flat Jubilee bracelet, the fluted bezel. Unbelievable watch, ladies and gentlemen. Reference number 127235 with a retail price of $47,000. What price? Frank Thurston, I'm going to give you guys two a shot. Frank Thurston, what price? I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to give you guys a hint. Está palito. Está palito. You know what palito means? You ever been to the horse track, dog track? Thoroughbred horses, palito. You know what that means? You guys taking too long. You guys don't know what that means? $47,000 is the retail price of that Land Dweller Rose Gold 36 millimeter. Nobody knows what price that watch is? This is how this watch is dropped. Are these guys on lockdown or they're Googling? What are they doing? Nobody knows the price of that watch? The retail is $47,000. It's $47,000, Dick. Mecca, Florida. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $47,000. This is what that means. When they say this, even money, $47,000 and dropping. Okay? So you know what's going on with the 36. If it goes to the 40, it's a different ballgame. But the 36, I'm not going to say, but it's heading in that direction. Okay? It's heading in that direction. Just to let you know. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a Cartier Santos titanium. Cartier Santos titanium, 40 millimeter, large, reference number WSSA0089 with a white dial. Beautiful. This thing, if you've never seen this watch or held it in your hand, this thing is light as a feather. It's titanium. A Santos, 40 millimeter. To be honest, it looks more to help you guys out, and I have to pick and choose my words because I don't want to offend anybody, but it looks more, more rugged, more of a real sport. Like if you look at the Santos in yellow gold, and you look at this Santos titanium, the way it looks, and it has this. It's a different gray. It's not polished. It looks more of a sporty watch. It really looks really really beautiful. Just in case you're looking at the Cartier Santos, bien bonito. How's he doing, man? I heard he's like a legend at Eugene, aka Jacob McChicken. The SEC has shut you down. I hope he's doing well. He didn't look well, his teeth were like yellow booger green, and that wasn't right. I didn't like that too much. I don't know what happened to him. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking at that Cartier Santos titanium 40 millimeter, you've seen it. Okay. How did you like it? How did you like it? You like it? 7,500. Okay. I'm going to give you, Thurston, the retail price of that watch. The retail price of that watch of the Cartier Santos titanium 40 millimeter, it is $11,500. 11,500. You put a price of 7,500. Very good. I believe someday it'll get to that number. But at this moment, if you're looking into that titanium, don't pay for that watch more than $9,300. All right, $9,300. Don't pay for that watch. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna give you a watch here. Again, these watches, for some reason, everybody went nuts with these watches. If it hadn't the rotor, the name of the company, of the watch company, that was good. It was cool because it had the name of the watch company. In this case, exactly, is better. This in this case, this one it had in the rotor 50th anniversary, right? And it became crazy. 50th anniversary, like the 50th anniversary of the new 5811 Nautilus Patek Philippe that I have said that it's going to come out now in Watches and Wonders for the Patek Philippe Nautilus. 50 years. This one had 50 years, and that was several years ago. Several years ago. But this watch, we're talking about an AP Royal Oak rose gold chrono 41 millimeter, reference number 26240, 50th anniversary with a white dial with a retail price of $63,800. And ladies and gentlemen, again, if you did not know how much they were asking for these watches at one moment, it's going to blow your hair back and knock your socks off. These watches were being paraded for, I mean, it depended. It depended the dial it had. If it had a blue dial, if it had a green dial. But in this case, it had 50th anniversary, rose gold, chrono, white dial. When it was 50th anniversary, you were talking about 2.5, 225 for the watch, $225,000. And there were many people that bought the watch because it had in the rotor 50th anniversary. And I'm going to tell all of you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for that watch, or you're looking into that watch, don't pay for that watch more. I don't care what they're telling you. This is already a used, cider condition material watch. Used. Don't pay for that watch more than $91,000. You do whatever you want, right? You do whatever you want. And I'm going to give you, these are my last two watches coming up, so we can scram and get out of here. This watch is a Rolex date white gold 36 millimeter. It's number 128239 with a blue dial diamond. Has diamonds in the hour markers and baguettes, but it's a 36 millimeter. 36 millimeter watch. Reference number 128239. Blue diamond dial. Beautiful watch. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you the retail price of this watch, you go, wow. $50,400, right? 36 millimeter. If you're looking for this watch, you're looking into this watch. It's a smaller version, smaller size, but it has some beautiful stuff. It has a blue dial, it had diamonds on the hour markers, and it's nice. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm 6'3". On a bad day and a good, I might be 6'4", and I would use and wear a 36 millimeter day for many, many years, and they look fine on me. So again, I don't want you to think that I'm talking bad about a 36. I'm a 6'3", 6'3", 6'3", 240 pounds, and I would wear a 30. No, at that time I was wearing like a 195, something like that. But anyway, it's a beautiful watch, and I'm going to tell all of you, don't pay for that beautiful blue dial diamond hour markers. Don't pay more than $31,300. Right, ladies and gentlemen, and this is my last watch market update of the evening. It's a Vacheron Constantin Overseas. See, this is when I get sad when I see something like this, because this watch brand, I always talk to you about them, and I always say, man, this is one of the top ones up there, one of the top. This is the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Rose Gold 4300V Perpetual Calendar Ultra thin. Ultra thin, the ultra thin version with a white dial, and then it has like a baby blue on the numbers and seconds and all that good stuff. But it's white, but it has a little blue on it. It looks beautiful, right? The retail price of that watch is $111,000. 111,000. Does anybody know what I'm going to turn out to pay for that watch? Anybody? Give me a number so I can get out of here quickly. It has the white dial with the blue numbers. What a nice. It's very, very nice. Bien chulo. Anybody have an idea? Okay, I take that Doc Maker Florida. I'll take the 50. It ain't 50, but I'll take it. Remember, $111,000 is the retail price plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. Stop right there. I'm going to stay with this gentleman, David. And here it is, David, because you're good people. Don't pay for that watch more. No, yeah, it's good. It was good. It was good, Doc. It was good. Don't pay for that watch more. And it's sad to say this, guys. Don't pay for that watch. I don't know how this is happening, but it's happening. Don't pay for that watch more than $69,000. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is your watch market update. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from watches, models, and brands that you should keep away from. I hope you learned something about gold, what's happening with gold, the way it's moving. I hope you learned something about the Newbury Get new release watches. And I hope you learned something from the watch market update. On behalf of me and Kino, we want to say thank you to all of you for all your support. For all your support. I really appreciate that. I'm in total shock that we have today 37 thumbs up. I want to applaud all of you for that. All that hard work you guys did. Okay, guys? Thank you so much. I really hope you guys learned something. On behalf of me and Sweet Kid Kino, we want to wish all of you a good night. And don't forget to take care and brush your hair. Good night, guys. Lo quiero mucho. Bendiciones, papá. Ciao, Thurston. Thurston, good heads up, papi. Thank you for stopping the bleeding. Thank you for stopping the bleeding, all of you. Lo quiero mucho. Bendiciones. Good night. Good night.